Let's just do a little sync. Welcome everybody. This is basically going to be a quick little tutorial about how to Welcome everybody. This is basically going to be a quick tutorial on how to clone yourself. So I'll stick a little clip in here that I made like a week ago or something like that of me coming in out of this door back over here and offering myself a beer while the other me is editing. So let's take a quick look at that.
You want a beer? They're cold. Here, look. Are you serious? It's 10 a.m. Want a beer? No, I don't want a beer. Are you crazy? No, I don't want a beer. Well, what about like a coffee or something? You want a coffee?
All right, so now that we've seen that, that's actually something that's pretty simple to do depending on how you film it. So I'll kind of show you how I did that here. Basically, you just need to record yourself twice. Basically what I did, if you look at the screen here, so you'll see here in my setup that I basically have these two clips. You have the clip, if I hide this one, of me sitting there alone editing, and if I bring this other one back in, you'll have the second clip of me coming in through the door. So we can also look at that again by clicking on the mask here and just hiding the opacity. So basically, we're only bringing in what we want and overlapping those. So that's basically how the mask works. You'll basically notice that there's a nice gap between the door and the desk. And I did that because I basically filmed myself exactly in the same position, same camera settings, everything's exactly the same. But sometimes you can get some light differences. When you're filming yourself twice, just as you're moving around the scene, the light can kind of change, and that'll change the exposure and some of the colors, stuff like that a little bit. So what you want to do is kind of have enough of a space, and we'll look at that right here. Let me just show you the mask that I've created. So if you have enough space, you can just basically create like a straight line. So I'll zoom out a bit here, and you can see that I basically just created like a rectangle around myself. You just do that by making a mask, just literally putting it around yourself and then feathering it out. So if there are any differences in the color of the wall after you've been moving around, that'll kind of just blend out. So if we play that back right now, you can see it looks pretty flawless, and that's really easy to do. I basically made one mask and I don't have to move it. I don't have to move the mask path or anything you see over here. It's pretty much just one mask and it just goes through the whole scene. One thing that's also helpful is having a second camera. So I have this second camera of myself here. So if you make any mistakes, or if there's anything you want to cut out, like you say something and you're like, oh, that's not really funny or anything like that, and you want to cut it out, it's helpful to have a second camera because you can then make the cut and just do a camera change when you make the cut. So it basically just kind of looks flawless. Doesn't look like you actually made a cut because it's just switching cameras. So I use that a lot when I do interviews. But when it gets difficult is we'll come in and look at the mask path here. Is as I move in front of myself, I have to create a mask around myself as I move through the frame. And you'll see how that mask, once I kind of move through, will then cover up the whole thing. My arm comes around and just go through everything. So that looks pretty good. It took forever to do, but you will see here if I zoom in that it's not perfect. It's a lot easier, I guess you could say, is if you have just kind of like a straight object. So you can see where I have just my sweatshirt, it's a lot easier. It's kind of some straight lines. And then once you get around my hands, all the curves and stuff of the hands, you have to be pretty specific about getting around all that. So if I zoom in here, let's say to 200, and I'll just get rid of that mask select, you'll see that around the edges of my hands, they're still like purple and whatnot. That's just because my mask is not perfect. So I was just basically hoping, do a good enough job, and that as I walk past, that'll be fast enough that that you don't really notice. And then the last thing that I should say is One thing I help do to just kind of make the conversation feel a little more natural is I basically filmed myself coming in through the door over here. So I come in through the door and I basically said what I wanted to say, gave a little bit of reaction time, and then I took that recording and I put it in my computer, and that's what I'm actually listening to on my headphones, is I'm actually listening to myself come in through the door, and I'm listening to that conversation. So basically then I can answer with appropriate timing and appropriately to the questions that I'm asking myself, and kind of how I'm annoying myself. So one problem about where I'm filming, me and my wife, we live in Costa Rica, and we live like probably less than 10 meters from a very busy road. So we got lots of cars and even giant trucks engine braking past our house. Here goes a motorcycle. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but it's pretty hard with all the noise around here to get some clean audio. Just make sure that you get a stable camera. Definitely film it on a tripod so that you don't have any movement in the camera, and I'll just leave the camera running as you film both parts of it. The second thing is recording your audio and then listening to that as you respond to yourself, so the timing is perfect. And then the third thing is just keep it simple, because once you start moving in front of yourself like that, then you're going to be spending a lot more time. I think I spent a couple hours just mapping around my hands and my body as I moved through that final scene there. So just keep in mind that as long as you're not moving in front of yourself and you're just keeping a nice separation between yourself, like in this kind of first scene that we see there, it's super simple to do. Just film yourself twice and then just answer your own questions. It's really easy to do, and it's kind of interesting and fun to just be able to create videos like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it was informational, and yeah, hopefully we'll have some more of these videos coming out with just quick little edits like that can kind of spice up your video editing experience. Cheers.